Tory Lanez can't seem to catch a break, fam. First, he was served a dime for allegedly letting off shots at Megan Thee Stallion. Then, as if that wasn't enough, he just got shanked multiple times. While locked up in prison, he was stabbed 14 times. What's got the hip? Hop community worked up the Mostert talks that Tory Lanez has passed away while undergoing treatment. He didn't even know his lungs had collapsed. All he knows is that he couldn't breathe. A lot is going on. Let's get into it. The shocking attack, according to multiple verified reports. On Monday, May 12, 2025, at approximately 7:20 a.m. local time, Tory Lanez got jumped and stabbed by another inmate at the California Correctional Institution in Tallahatchie, about 75 mi north of Los Angeles. The Say It rapper, whose government name is Dare Peterson, was allegedly attacked by an inmate identified as Santino Casio, who's serving life with possibility of parole for some serious charges, including second-degree murder. The attack was no joke. Straight savvy. Lanez caught 14 stab wounds across his body, with 7 to his back, 4 to the torso, 2 to the back of his dome, and 1 to the side of his face.
He was stabbed 14 times, 5 times in his back, 1 under his left cheekbone. In fact, his jaw was open. He was stabbed twice in the back of his head, and the rest in his torso, arms, and in his chest.
Both his lungs collapsed from the assault, which had him on a breathing machine. Right away, that's the type of situation where it's touch and go. Real talk, it may seem sensational, but thankfully, like Dior King, it was close to his heart, but did not penetrate. He said, and I quote, "Dad, I thought it was my last." The correctional officers acted fast, giving him first aid and calling for emergency services. They rushed Lanez to a local hospital for immediate treatment. The incident happened in one of the housing units, and while nobody is exactly sure why dude got stabbed, both the prison's investigative services unit and the Kern County District Attorney's Office are looking into it. The alleged attacker, Santino Casio, 42, ain't new to violence. Inside the Walls records show that Casio been at Tallahatchie since February 2004, coming from Los Angeles County Jail, and has caught additional charges while locked up, including a 6-year sentence in January 2008 for attacking another inmate with a weapon and a 2-year bid in 2018 for having or making a deadly weapon. They are putting hands and shanks on Lanez. Casio got thrown in the hole while they investigate what went down. We've been getting updates on Tory's condition, mainly through his verified IG and statements from his pop Sunstar Peterson. An Instagram post from Tory's official account broke down his injuries and mentioned he was temporarily on a breathing machine by May 13th, just a day air catching those 14 holes. Medical staff had already started removing tubes that were draining fluid from his lungs, according to his father during a press conference on May 14, 2025 in downtown LA. The reports
in the hospital is that he is doing remarkably well. I was told yesterday, because they had already taken out the tubes that were draining the fluids from his lungs, they had already taken them out by the time my wife and I got there.
The latest word as of May 14th is that Lanez is recovering remarkably well despite what he went through. He is breathing on his own, talking normal, and keeping his spirits up, even though he's in mad pain. People close to him say he's thankful to be alive or such. A vicious attack, and appreciates all the support from his day ones and fans showing love. It's important to remember that this attack comes while Tory is already going through it. As most of y'all probably know, Lanez is serving a 10-year bid air, getting convicted in December 2022 on 3 felony charges related to the July 2020 shooting involving Megan Thee Stallion. The charges were assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a concealed unregistered burner, and negligent discharge of a firearm. He started his sentence in August 2023, are being transferred from LA County Jail to the state prison system. The stabbing has reignited all the old debates about Tory's original case, with the timeline still divided. Adding to the drama, Tory's legal team called a press conference on May 14, 2025, just 2 days of stabbing, to announce what they claim is new evidence in his shooting case. But we'll get into that juicy development in a minute. For now, let's peep how people initially reacted to news of the stabbing. The word spread like wildfire across major outlets and social media, with reactions all over the spectrum depending on how people already felt about Tory and his conviction. Many fans and some artists in the game expressed concern and sent prayers on X. Some users pointed out that no matter what you think about Lanez celebrating violence, one user tweeted, "Celebrating Tory Lanez getting stabbed is degenerate behavior. There should never be a time where you're wishing death on someone on behalf of a celebrity." Similarly, journalist Megan Cuniff, who's been covering Tory's case heavy, said, "The amount of violence in our prisons is horrifying. It is not at all funny what happened. And no, he didn't deserve it, but keeping it a buck." There's also been people showing zero sympathy or straight up celebrating what happened. These reactions usually reference Tory's conviction for shooting Meg, suggesting karma came back around. These types of comments show how toxic social media can get when controversial figures face violence, especially when there's already bad blood beyond just sympathy or hate. The stabbing has people coming up with all kinds of conspiracy theories. Some social media users are connecting dots between the attack and the supposed new evidence in Tory's case, while others are questioning if the whole stabbing might have been orchestrated for some type of legal advantage. One ex-user even speculated, "I don't think Tory Lanez was stabbed. I believe that his team orchestrated a plan to relieve him from incarceration." These reactions show just how complicated public opinion gets when celebrities catch cases. The division of opinion on Tory reflects bigger conversations about justice, accountability, and how public opinion influences high-profile criminal cases. Let's back up a bit and give some context about why Tory is locked up in the first place, which is crucial to understanding this whole situation. As mentioned earlier, Lanez is doing a 10-year bid for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in July 2020. The incident popped off an argument following a pool party at Kylie Jenner's crib in the Hollywood Hills. According to what came out in court, Tory allegedly dissed Megan's rap skills. He claimed to be leading daily prayer groups and helping keep things peaceful in the protective custody unit. On September 19, 2023, they transferred him to North Kern State Prison in Delano, a medium security spot, before moving him to CCI Tahachi, about 100 miles north of Los Angeles, which houses both medium and maximum security inmates. Throughout his bid, Lanez has maintained his innocence regarding shooting Megan. His legal team filed a motion for a new trial, arguing insufficient evidence and improper admission of evidence like Megan's testimony about Tory's parole status. Judge Hereford shut that down on May 9, 2023. Additionally, in September 2023, the court denied a bail motion that would have allowed Lanez to chill in Los Angeles with his wife and son during the appeal process. The judge cited the violent nature of his conviction, his history of violating court orders, and his risk of deportation as a Canadian citizen as reasons to keep him behind bars. Despite being locked up, Tory's still been active with his music and maintaining his public image. He's continued dropping tracks, including collections labeled Lost Tapes recorded between 2015 to 2020, prison tapes recorded while locked up, and Twitch tapes recorded live on Twitch before he got locked up in 2025. He even dropped an album called Peterson, described as the first ever in real-time prison album recorded entirely while he was inside using AI technology. The album reportedly hit number 25 on the Billboard 200, showing Tory still has pull in the industry despite his legal troubles. With everything that has happened, his fans still hold on to the hope of his release, while his legal team tirelessly works to make it happen. New evidence and legal twists. Just 2 days air, Tory caught 14 stab wounds at the California Correctional Institution in Tahachi. His legal team pulled up with a press conference that added even more controversy to his situation. On May 14, 2025, Lanez lawyers working with a nonprofit legal organization called Unite the People (UTP) gathered journalists and supporters in downtown Los Angeles to drop what they claim is game-changing new evidence related to his 2020 shooting conviction.
James informed Unite the People that he was a witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody.
The timing of this announcement coming right, Tory nearly lost his life in that prison attack, immediately had people raising eyebrows and speculating about possible connections between the two events. According to reports from the press conference, Tory's team introduced testimony from Bradley James, who they identified as the former bodyguard of Kelsey Harris, Megan Thee Stallion's ex-bestie, who was present during the shooting incident in July 2020. James' testimony flips the script on the events that led to Tory's conviction. James claims he overheard Harris admitting during private conversations that she, not Lanez, was the one who bust shots at Megan Thee Stallion on the night of July 12, 2020. According to his account, Harris allegedly let off 3 shots at Megan, and Tory tried to stop her by grabbing her arm and knocking the gun down, which resulted in 2 more shots being fired accidentally. The former bodyguard, supposedly not tied down by any NDA and non-disclosure agreement, said he came forward because his conscience was eating at him, insisting that Lanez never shot or assaulted Megan, as was determined in the original court case. If true, this testimony would completely contradict the story that got Lanez convicted in December 2022 on 3 felony gun charges. Tory's legal team, joined by political commentator Gianno Caldwell and UTP consultant Walter Roberts, argued that this new evidence suggests Lanez was wrongfully convicted. They came for former Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gaskin, pointing to alleged prosecutorial misconduct, missing forensic data, and what they described as a politically motivated sentencing at the press conference. The legal squad went further, calling for California Governor Gavin Newsom to cut Tory's sentence or grant him a pardon, emphasizing the urgency given his recent hospitalization ere getting shanked. They've also started a petition on change, already shared through Tory's official X account, to build public support for getting him freed. The emergence of this alleged new evidence has sparked major debate across various media outlets. It's important to emphasize that Megan Thee Stallion has consistently maintained that Lanez was the shooter throughout the original trial, and everything that followed. Her attorney responded to new claims by stating that the case was properly handled in court, suggesting that the new testimony doesn't change the facts established during the trial. The timing of these new claims dropping so soon are the stabbing incident has fueled all kinds of speculation and conspiracy theories about possible connections. Some social media users have suggested the attack might have been orchestrated to generate sympathy for Lanez before the new evidence revealed, while others have proposed that the stabbing might have been an attempt to silence him as the new evidence was about to come out. For example, one user on platform X posted, "It's crazy how Tory Lanez gets stabbed before the new evidence came out that Kelsey Harris shot Megan, not Tory. This case is finally about to turn around." Another user theorized that the stabbing was a hit ordered by someone potentially connected to the forthcoming evidence. According to details shared at the press conference and reported by various outlets, Bradley James claims to have been close by when Kelsey Harris had private conversations where she allegedly admitted to being the real shooter. His testimony suggests that Harris, not Lanez, was the one who let off shots that injured Megan Thee Stallion. According to James, the shooting went down very differently from the story that led to Tory's conviction. He claims that Harris busted 3 initial shots at Megan, and that Tory then tried to intervene by grabbing Harris's arm and knocking the gun downward, causing 2 additional shots to go off accidentally. This version of events, if proven true, would paint Tory not as the aggressor, but as someone who was trying to prevent more violence. James reportedly said he was coming forward now because his conscience was heavy, feeling that an innocent man was wrongfully locked up. He indicated he wasn't bound by any confidentiality agreements that would prevent him from sharing this information, though it's still unclear why he didn't come forward during the original trial. Besides James' testimony, Tory's legal team has suggested there are other elements that call the original conviction into question. They've allegedly pointed to DNA analysis showing only a 0.01% chance that Lanez touched the gun used in the shooting.
As the attorneys laid out here today, the prosecution failed to produce a single shred of forensic evidence tying Tory to the actual gun. His fingerprints weren't on it. His DNA was later found to be 100% nearly excluded from the gun, as shown in the worksheet that was provided to the defense late on the eve of the actual trial, after making a request for that very document. After trial, looking at this evidence, there is a 0.01% chance Tory's DNA was on the firearm.
Also raised concerns about missing evidence, including claims that the actual gun and bullet used in the shooting were never properly processed or presented at trial. The legal team has characterized the original trial as fundamentally unfair, suggesting that Tory never had a real chance to present his side due to what they describe as biased media pressure and prosecutorial overreach. They argued that these factors, combined with the new testimony, justify reconsidering his case at the highest levels, which is why they're appealing to Governor Cuomo for clemency. The controversy surrounding these new legal claims has blown up on social media, especially on platform X. Posts from some accounts have emphasized aspects of the new claims, such as the alleged lack of DNA fingerprints or gunshot residue linking Lanez to the shooting. Other accounts have highlighted Bradley James' testimony, presenting it as potentially exonerating evidence. Tory himself has been active on social media, despite being locked up, posting on X on May 14, 2025, urging supporters to sign a petition for his release with the #free. The petition, started by the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety, has reportedly gained significant traction, though exact numbers aren't available as of this report. However, not all social media reactions have been backing Tory or buying the new claims. Some users have expressed skepticism about the timing and credibility of the new testimony, while others have reaffirmed their support for Megan Thee Stallion. Some of these posts expressed frustration with abusers and their supporters, reflecting the polarized nature of public opinion on this case. The situation is further complicated by Tory's continued musical output. Despite being locked up, as mentioned earlier, he's released music recorded both before and during his bid, including a 2025 album titled Peterson that was reportedly created entirely within prison using AI technology. This ongoing artistic presence has helped maintain his relevance and visibility, ensuring that developments in his case continue to attract significant public attention. It's worth noting that Tory's legal troubles extend beyond the shooting case that led to his current incarceration. In December 2024, Megan Thee Stallion filed for a restraining order alleging that Tory was harassing her from prison through third parties, including a blogger who was allegedly spreading false claims about missing evidence. In January 2025, a judge granted a 5-year restraining order effective until January 9, 2030, prohibiting Tory from contacting or harassing Megan. As the situation continues to unfold, several key questions remain up in the air. Will Tory's legal team formally submit their new evidence through proper legal channels? How will the courts respond to these claims if they are formally presented? What impact, if any, will the stabbing incident have on Tory's legal situation? And perhaps most immediately, how will Tory's recovery from his injuries progress? The answers to these questions will likely emerge in the coming weeks and months, potentially reshaping the narrative around one of the most controversial celebrity legal cases in recent years. For now, let's explore the broader implications of this case, examining how it reflects and influences societal attitudes towards celebrity justice, violence, and the power of social media in shaping public opinion. The aftermath and broader implications. The stabbing of Tory Lanez at California Correctional Institution hasn't just raised concerns about his personal safety, but has also put a spotlight on the larger issue of violence in America's prison system. According to numerous reports, Tory is currently on the mend, with his condition described as fair. As of May 14, 2025, updates from his verified Instagram account suggest he's in good spirits despite being in pain and is deeply thankful to God for surviving the attack. The medical response seems to have been quick and effective, with prison staff providing immediate first aid before Tory was transported to a medical facility where he received more comprehensive treatment. The alleged attacker, Santino Casio, has been thrown in the whole restricted housing pending investigations by both the prison's investigative services unit and the Kern County District Attorney's Office. As mentioned earlier, Casio has a history of violence within the prison system, including previous convictions for assaults on fellow inmates. This pattern raises questions about how violent offenders are managed within correctional facilities and what measures are in place to prevent such attacks. Moving beyond the physical attack itself, the legal developments that followed have introduced new complications to an already controversial case. The claims of new evidence suggesting Kelsey Harris, not Tory, was responsible for shooting Megan Thee Stallion represent a potentially dramatic twist in the narrative that led to Tory's conviction. If substantiated through proper legal channels, the testimony of Bradley James Harris's former bodyguard could raise serious questions about the original verdict. According to the claims made at the May 14th press conference, James alleges he overheard Harris admitting to shooting Megan, and that Tory actually tried to prevent further violence by intervening. This account directly contradicts the sequence of events established during Tory's trial